Is Possessor the demon deal that deserves your time, or just another moody Metroidvania in a year full of better ones? Heart Machine, the Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash studio, finally stepped into the Metroidvania arena, and critics can't decide if it's quietly special or just quiet. Spoiler safe setup. You're Luca, a teen in a corporate walled city when a demon disaster tears everything apart. She loses her legs and her best friend in seconds, then makes a pact with Rem, a demon who needs a host. He gives her spidery demon legs and combat powers. She gives him a shot at getting home. The city's ruled by Agradine, a company farming demons for a resource called Chroma, and you and your unwanted roommate fight your way out of the rubble. And one thing all three major reviews line up, the vibe is great. Possessor throws fluorescent 2D characters into gloomy 3D cityscapes full of possessed cones, filing cabinets, and security cameras. The soundtrack leans into 90s-style electronic jazz and dreamy city pop instead of generic orchestral or chip music. The writing mostly underplays its big themes of exploitation and abuse instead of shouting in your face. If you like sinking into a sad, stylish sci-fi world for a while, this game knows what it's doing. The story is also stronger than the girl and demon share a body pitch suggests. On the surface, it's two beings trying to escape a ruined city. Underneath, it keeps asking who is using who: Luca's friends, the corporation farming demons, and even Rem. Memory scenes slowly reframe Luca's relationships and Rem's motives, and reviewers call out how the emotional payoffs land without turning into a lecture. Combat is where the positive takes really dig in. This isn't a slow, weighty Souls-like, it's fast and smash adjacent. You swing bats, hockey sticks, kitchen knives, plus weird specials like a mouse flail or a phone shockwave. The whip is the MVP. It pulls enemies in, lets you swing between hooks, and feeds into a parry that reflects projectiles. Reviews describe the fights as crunchy and readable with bosses that feel tough but fair. When the doors lock and it's just you and a health bar, Possessor feels good in the hands. The cracks start when you look at how that combat fits into the bigger loop. Once you find a loadout and a couple of passive perks you like, the game doesn't push you hard to change. One critic flat out says they didn't need new strategies after the 5-hour mark, just cleaner execution. Another liked perks, like extra parry damage and healing on dodge, but admitted there wasn't much incentive to keep experimenting. If you're okay with find a build, ride it, that's fine. If you want each hour to open up new options, you'll hit the ceiling fast. Exploration is where the reviews practically start yelling. One says the map is friendly, with unexplored spots clearly marked and almost no "where do I go" frustration. Another says the opposite. Vague main paths, breakable walls that blend into the environment, long runs between checkpoints and fast travel. A third calls the map dreadful and complains about hours spent wandering empty skyscrapers looking for a single route that actually moves the story forward. That tells you the structure doesn't flex well to different playstyles. If you like filling in every square and treating the whole city like a big gloomy checklist, Possessor can feel like a satisfying sprawl. If you lean more mainline and expect the game to gently steer you toward the ability you need next, this is where the pacing starts to feel padded. A lot of people agree a tighter 10-12 hour cut would have done the game a lot of favors. Then there's performance and polish. One reviewer hit occasional frame drops, and a room that failed to load until they approached it from another angle. Another talks about falling forever through unloaded areas, sound bugs, looping screams, and frequent stutters even on a decent PC. A third barely mentions technical issues. So it's not universally broken, but it is a roll of the dice. Progression has the same good idea, rough execution energy. The Chroma system collect currency, drop it on death, reclaim it, bank it, is a forgiving riff on Souls. But health and potion upgrades trigger automatically after collecting enough items, without telling you what enough is. So for a long time it can feel like nothing matters. Weapon upgrades unlock affixes, but at least one reviewer didn't realize that because the UI never spells it out. So stack it all together and the spread makes sense. On the higher end, you've got strong combat, good story, familiar but fun, landing in low 8 territory. In the middle, you've got stylish crunchy, a bit too safe, around a 7. On the low side, you've got buggy, padded, not fun enough for most of its runtime. In a year where heavy hitters like Hollow Knight, Silksong and Shinobi, Art of Vengeance are right there. The veteran game verdict. Possessor is a solid B-tier Metroidvania wrapped in A-tier atmosphere. If you love melancholic dystopias, demon roommate drama, and fast 2D combat that feels good even when it isn't reinventing the wheel, it's worth grabbing on sale or when you want something moody rather than mind-blowing. If you expect every new Metroidvania to either innovate hard or sit in the same league as the genre's greats, this probably isn't the one. If this kind of no BS breakdown is your thing, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe so we can keep pulling apart games that live in the messy middle, not just the obvious masterpieces and disasters. And if you've played Possessor, tell me where you landed. Team Gentle Never Really Lost or Team Buggy Office Maze from Hell. Most importantly, in 2025's Metroidvania lineup, is stylish but safe enough to make a deal with one more demon? Or are you saving your time and your chroma for the games that really try to push the genre forward?